Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood.
Thinking believers, welcome to the Philosophy Feud. I am Fernando Malari, your host for today's show. Let us meet our two teams who will be playing in this episode. For our first team, we have Team Cancia, and for our second team is Team Rocatias. Welcome, two teams. Kailangan nyo lang pahulaan ang most popular answers ng 100 Pinoy na ating sinurvey. So, what are you waiting for? Team captains Nina and Dian, please step up here on stage and let's play Philosophy Feud. Nag-survey kami ng 100 tao, and the top 5 answers are on the board. Players, remember, the first one to press the button will have the chance to answer. For our first round, give at least one of the most famous philosophers in the entire world. Yes, Nina.
The answer is Aristotle.
Let's find out if your answers are on the board. Congratulations! Aristotle is the top answer with 31 points. Before we proceed, can you please explain the philosophical background of Aristotle?
Sure. Aristotle is an ancient Greek philosopher and known as the father of Western philosophy, who made important contributions to logic, criticisms, rhetoric, physics, biology, psychology, mathematics, metaphysics, ethics, and even politics.
Wow, such an amazing and wonderful answer. So you will decide, pass or play?
Play.
Okay, let's proceed. Jasmine, please give at least one famous philosopher.
My answer is Karl Marx.
Your answer is Karl Marx. Let us see if it's on the board. And you've got it! Karl Marx earns 13 points. Before we proceed, can you please explain the philosophical background of Karl Marx?
Of course! Karl Marx was a German philosopher during the 19th century. He worked primarily in the realm of political philosophy and was a famous advocate for communism. He co-wrote the Communist Manifesto and was the author of Das Kapital, which together formed the basis of Marxism.
Doing great, Team Cancia. Now, let's get back to you, Nina. Please give at least one famous philosopher.
I think it is René Descartes.
Let us see if that's on the board. And you've got it right! Renz Garcel, and that is 20 points. Before we proceed, can you please explain the philosophical background of Renz Garcel?
As far as I know, Descartes has been heralded as the first modern philosopher. He is famous for having an important connection between geometry and algebra, which allowed for the solving of geometrical problems by the way of algebraic equations.
That is awesome. Now, remember that if you've got 2 wrong answers or the round is still proceeding, the other team shall continue to answer the questions and have the chance to get the points. Jasmine, please give at least one famous philosopher.
I think my answer is Cardo de Lisay.
Sorry, but Cardo de Lisay isn't on the board. Okay, Nina, you have 1 chance left before the other team can steal. Please give at least one famous philosopher.
I believe it is Rastaman.
Let's find out if your answers are on the board. Unfortunately, your answers aren't on the board. Okay, Team Rocatias, you still have 1 chance to steal. Dian, please give at least one famous philosopher.
My answer is Thomas Aquinas.
Congratulations! Thomas Aquinas leads on the second spot with 25 points. Before we proceed, can you please explain the philosophical background of Thomas Aquinas?
Okay, Thomas Aquinas was the greatest of the scholastic philosophers. He produced a comprehensive synthesis of Christian theology and Aristotelian philosophy that influenced Roman Catholic doctrine for centuries and was adopted as the official philosophy of the Church in 1917.
Astonishing! Now, Ayla, there's 1 item left on the board. Can you please give me at least one famous philosopher?
I think Plato is one of them.
Does Plato belong on the board? Let's find out. And you've got it right! Plato has 11 points on the board. Again, can you please explain the philosophical background of Plato?
Plato was a student of Socrates and a teacher of Aristotle. He is known as the father of idealism in philosophy. His ideas were elitist, with the philosopher king the ideal ruler. His writings also explore justice, beauty, and equality, and also contain discussions in aesthetics, political philosophy, theology, cosmology, epistemology, and the philosophy of language. Plato founded the Academy in Athens, one of the first institutions of higher learning in the Western world.
Congratulations! Now, we saw how competitive our two teams are. We have completed all the answers on the board. Indeed, this feud is a challenge and is thrilling for all of us. Let us now move on to the second round. As of now, Team Kansia is leading with 64 points, and ang Team Rocatias with 36 points ay pwede pang humabol. Again, nag-survey kami ng 100 tao, and the top 4 answers are on the board. Players, remember, the first one to press the button will have the chance to answer. For a second round, give at least one philosophical view from famous philosophers. Okay, Ayla, you have the chance to answer.
My answer is logic philosophical view.
Let us see if your answers are on the board. You got the answer right! Logical philosophical view is the top answer that has 40 points. Team Rocatias, please decide, pass or play.
We will definitely play!
Can you elaborate or explain what the definition of logical philosophical view is?
In logic philosophy, Aristotle believed that all knowledge comes from experience. Therefore, he argued that there are no truths to be found outside of experience itself. We can use this reasoning to help us make decisions about how we want to live our lives. If something seems logical enough, then it's probably true. Therefore, I believe he was right when he said that we all have a little philosopher inside of us waiting to be heard.
Marvelous answer. Now, let's move on to Dian. Dian, give at least one philosophical view from famous philosophers.
I think it is political philosophy.
Does political philosophy belong to the board? And you've got it right. Political philosophy corresponds to 31 points. Now, can you elaborate what is the definition of political philosophy?
Political philosophy explores the relationship between citizens and governments. It can be divided into liberty, legal justice, property ownership, citizens' rights, and the system of law. In Aristotle's point of view regarding political philosophy, the aim of politics is to investigate, on the basis of the constitutions collected, what makes for good government and what makes for bad government, and to identify the factors favorable or unfavorable to the preservation of constitution. Aristotle asserts that all communities aim at some good. He also defined it as the prudential giving of laws which aims to make citizens virtuous. Such a goal requires that statesmen themselves be virtuous, and they are to the degree that they are prudent, since prudence is a virtue.
That is incredible. Now, remember, if you've got 2 wrong answers while the round is still proceeding, the other team shall continue to answer the questions and have the chance to get the points. Going back to Ayla, please give at least one philosophical view from famous philosophers.
My answer is aesthetic philosophy.
Let's find out if your answers are on the board. Unfortunately, your answer is correct. However, it wasn't on the board. You can only have one chance before the other team can steal. Please give at least one philosophical view from famous philosophers.
My answer is technologism.
Let us see if technologism is on the board. Sad to say, your answer does not belong on the board. Let us move on to the other team. Hello again, Team Kansia. Nina, please give at least one philosophical view from famous philosophers.
My answer is Platonism.
Is Platonism on the board? What do you think, everyone? Great, your answer has 10 points on the board. So, before we proceed, can you elaborate what...
My pleasure. In this philosophy, Plato rejected the materialism, common to ancient philosophy in favor of metaphysics. He believed in the existence of an immaterial world of perfect objects and forms or ideas. His theory of forms suggests that all objects and ideas in the material world or the real world are a copy of their perfect counterparts from the immaterial world. Platonism, in this sense, is a contemporary view. It conveys that such things exist as abstract objects, where an abstract object is an object that does not exist in space or time, and which is therefore entirely non-physical or non-metal.
What a spectacular answer you had. This is very thrilling, so let us stay tuned. Because now, Jasmine, you only need to aim for the last answer on the board. Will you be able to at least give one philosophical view from famous philosophers?
Okay, my answer is progressivism.
Are you sure? Let us see if progressivism belongs to the board. Congratulations! Your answer is on the board, earning 19 points. Can you elaborate what is the definition of progressivism?
Okay, progressivism is a theory of education that is concerned with the learning in the way children learn best in pursuing their own interests and satisfying their own needs. As I learn more about this philosophical view, I believe that people learn best from what they consider most relevant to their lives. Progressivists center the curriculum on their needs, experience, interests, and abilities of students. As a student, this will give us an opportunity to express ourselves creatively and explore our ideas, which will help us to learn in new ways with less risk or frustration. Progressivism emphasizes the need for educators to be more flexible and responsive to the needs of individual students.
Alright, what a wonderful episode we're having right here. Quick recap, as of now, Team Rojatias is leading, gaining 71 points with a total of 107 points. Humabol talaga sila mga ka-thinking believers. For the last round, prepare yourselves and show them what you've got. Let us now proceed to the third round. Once again, nag-survey kami ng 100 tao, and the top 5 answers are on the board. Players, remember, the first one to press the button will have the chance to answer. For a third round, give at least one characteristic that defines a wise person. Okay, Dean, you have the chance to answer.
My answer is, a wise person knows one's ignorance.
And your answer is correct. It is the top answer and has 31 points on the board. Team Rojatias can decide if you want to pass or play.
Play, of course.
Okay, great. Moving on to Ayla. We're having the same question.
I think a wise person is someone who believes in themselves and not to other people.
Sorry to say, but your answer does not belong to the board. Team Rojatias, if their answer is incorrect, you can steal and have the chance to answer. So, Dian, give at least one characteristic that defines a wise person.
A wise person knows what should be done and acts accordingly.
Okay, let us see if your answer is on the board. Going strong, Team Rojatias. Your answer earns 11 points. Okay, Ayla, going back to you. Give at least one characteristic that defines a wise person.
I think a wise person is someone who only depends on their knowledge and not on their morals.
Unfortunately, it does not belong to the scoreboard. It's your time to shine, Team Kansia. You can steal an answer. Nina, give at least one characteristic that defines a wise person.
For me, a wise person has justified true beliefs.
Does your answer belong to the board? Let us find out. Wow, your answer has 25 points. It's your turn, Jasmine. We will proceed with the same question.
I believe a wise person put their knowledge into actions.
Let us watch and see if your answer is correct. Amazing! You got it right. Your answer got 13 points. Back to you, Nina. You need to go get that last answer on the board. Now, for the question, can you please give at least one characteristic that defines a wise person?
My answer is a wise person knows what is valuable in life.
Okay, let us see if your answer is on the board. Magnificent! Your answer earned 20 points on the board. Once again, we have completed the scoreboard. What competitive and impressive teams we have here. Let us now reveal the final scores that each team obtained. Team Kanzia got an overall total of 151 points, and Team Rojatias has an overall total of 149 points. Congratulations Team Kanzia, you are the winner! What a close competition we had. Indeed, both teams did their best and showcased their knowledge about philosophy. Great job everyone! Again, thinking believers, this is Philosophy Feud. Thank you for watching this episode. Until next time.